Look at this. This thing's going like right over my truck. Get an island burger. I'm gonna take a big old bite. Canal Beach is a little more laid back. I think a little bit more, well, they're playing beer pong. This actually kind of looks like the Outer Banks if you've been there, where there's nothing on either side. All right, it's Friday night. Welcome to the next video in my Cruising Wilmington series. Today, we're checking out Carolina Beach, AKA Pleasure Island. The boardwalk is bumping. It's Friday night. It's beautiful. You see the Ferris wheel, all the rides, the people, the energy. We're gonna take you on a full tour. Hop in with me. Let's take a tour of Carolina Beach. Come on and hop inside.
And check out what we're gonna be cruising in today.
This is Gretsch, 1995 Ford F350 7.3 liter Power Stroke, lumbering along just over 200 horsepower, 425 foot-pounds of torque. She's the truck your grandpa would drive, if your grandpa was incredibly cool. Not about miles per hour, all about smiles per mile.
All right, so we're right here at the boardwalk. This is the heart and soul of Carolina Beach. If you're coming to visit, you're coming to visit right here. So this is one of the only boardwalks. I think you got to go all the way up to Virginia Beach before you get to another actual boardwalk. There's games, there's an arcade, there's live music, there's multiple bars and restaurants where you can sit and see the ocean. There's 5 different access points where the boardwalk walks down to the sand. Kelly and I, we first moved here, we checked out Carolina Beach for the first time. We came at night and we rode the Ferris wheel. The amusement park rides are here, I think between late May and early September. There's a handful of rides, and one of my favorite establishments on Carolina Beach, which I can't drive to because you cannot physically get a vehicle to it, is going to be the world famous Britt's Donuts. And Britt's Donuts was founded in 1939. So for over 80 years, Britt's Donuts has had a line around the door. They have not changed their recipe, and I don't know if they've even cleaned their fryers, but I don't care because their donuts are cheap and they're delicious. I'd consider this the most busy intersection here at Carolina Beach. So right around here, there's tons of rental options. Right on my right, we have Havana's, which is one of the most popular restaurants in Carolina Beach. And right across the road, you got Pleasure Island Rentals. They've got paddle boards, they've got kayaks, bicycles, everything you need. So here, we're turning onto the main strip here and you get a really nice view of the amusement park rides. We've got the Tilt-A-Whirl, we've got amusement park games. There's like tons of games here. Right on my left is the Malama Cafe. This one just opened up a few years ago. There was a whole building here to my right that they've demolished. That's how fast Carolina Beach is growing. And this is the very beginning of Canal Drive. So really, you're in the heart and soul of it. Listen to the energy. This is so cool. You got all the music, you got the families walking around, you got funnel cakes, you've got all kinds of. Now, you will not catch me on this thing. Surf's up. I'm sorry, you cannot pay me enough, but keep your head on a swivel if you're driving through here because we're getting into that time of the night when people are walking. Look at this. This thing's going like right over my truck. What? And this is a new thing just opened up, Carolina Beach Bar and Grill. Right here, you had t-shirts. Now there's multiple ice cream shops, Hurricane Alleys, great rooftop bar. You can see the ocean. Fun fact about Carolina Beach, this is where the shag dance was originated, right here. And you can see the shag bar right in front of us. There's actually a mural here. The shag dance, the style of dance, it's kind of like a shuffle, but it's very specifically originated here in Carolina Beach. How cool is that? In fact, I'm gonna overlay a little bit of video of my parents shag dancing right now so you can see just how freaking cute that is. And they have little events where people come, play music, and shag dance here. First, we're gonna head north on Canal, which is where we're at right now. We're leaving the boardwalk, we're heading north. So we're gonna go all the way to the north end, we're gonna wrap around and go all the way down to the south end. All the parking here is paid park. $6 an hour, $25 a day. Here to my left, you'll see the end of the waterway here. Now, all of these are fishing charters. So if you wanna go out for the day, offshore, near shore fishing, you've got tons of options to choose from. Stoked is a great little restaurant. It's right here on the waterway, and you can actually pull up your boat to the other side and get out and have dinner and a drink. Really quick, this house looks like Pizza Hut to me, right here to the left. I think about it every time I drive by. It's got literally, it's the shape of a Pizza Hut. So if you're a boater, living on Canal is like the dream because Canal is the only place in Carolina Beach where you can have boat deep water access, and there's deeded water slips for most of these beach properties over here. We are at the north end, the very north end now. I'm right here next to the Carolina Beach pier. This is a really, really cool spot. It used to be a fishing pier until, you might be able to see it here, a hurricane took off the end of the pier and it looks like a Mario Kart level ramp where it's like going into the ocean right now. That'll probably be fixed at some point. But right now, it's a tiki bar, kind of a hangout. It's really cool. They got live music. My wife and I manage an Airbnb like right over here. But the cool part about this is right here at the very north end is Freeman Park. One of the only places in North Carolina, here, Outer Banks, and then just down the road, Fort Fisher, where you can drive onto the beach with your four-wheel drive. When I first moved here, I had a two-door 2014 Jeep Wrangler JK. I went and I bought the permit and I drove out here probably every weekend for a solid summer. Truth be told, I could take my truck on the beach, but this truck is my baby. And I don't want any salt water or anything up underneath it, so that's my excuse. Now, if you are also on Carolina Beach or staying on Carolina Beach and you have your boat, there are 2 free fish and wildlife ramps that you can go to. The first one is at Snow's Cut on the very north end of the beach. This ramp features 5 lanes and plenty of parking for trucks with trailers, and that is a free spot where you can get out into the channel. And the second spot will be all the way at the south end of the island, where we will end our tour today. Right to my right, that's Sea Witch right there. That's kind of like a cool little spot to hang. And then there's the I Love CB little spot here to the right for a photo op. Now, really quick, right in front of me is the Island Quick Mart. This is famous and a little bit legendary for the famous Island Burger. Up until just recently, the best burger in all of New Hanover County was served out of this convenience store. It looks like a little gas station. They don't even sell gas, but the Island Quick Mart. There was a little spot in here and it got so popular because so many people were ordering burgers there that they actually bought a building just like a stone's throw from here. It was an old Hardee's and converted it into the new Island Burger. And that is my #1 burger in all of New Hanover County. Get an Island Burger. I'm gonna take a big old bite. All right, right here, this is the main Lake Park Boulevard. There's obviously gonna be a handful of Blue Reefs, like your beach, your classic beach wing style stores. On this side of the island is also Carolina Beach State Park. Carolina Beach State Park is huge, like over 500 acres of trails and preserved land. One of the only places in the entire world that the Venus flytrap actually grows in the wild. There's a marina and a place to launch your boat there as well. It's not free. There are RV parking spots, and there are little cabins that you can rent and stay at Carolina Beach State Park. Carolina Beach is colorful, it's vibrant. There's a lot more mix of architecture and styles here, and you'll notice murals drawn. Specifically here around this corner that depicts the shoe fly train over there, which was a train that actually used to come over to Carolina Beach. Kate's Pancakes is so good, that place you will never leave hungry at Kate's Pancakes. Another little park, this is Carolina Lake here to the right, and really we begin the residential development here. So this is a little lake, there's a park, there's a gazebo, there's restrooms, super cute, nice spot, take the family and enjoy, walk around the evening. You get a really nice sunset over the water right here. That is like so cool. Let's talk a little bit about just real estate in general. So Carolina Beach is a whole different ballpark than Wrightsville Beach. When we did Wrightsville Beach, the most expensive home that had sold was over $10 million. The most expensive home that has sold in Carolina Beach in the last 3 years was $3.35 million. Carolina Beach is a lot more affordable than Wrightsville Beach. It's bigger. There's more homes on the islands, more spread out. There's a bigger mix of properties and homes. I'm gonna turn into right now kind of one of the more well-known developments in Carolina Beach called Carolina Sands. This is an HOA, okay? So you are gonna have rules about how things look and stuff, but it's not gonna be as accessible to the public. And from here south, you have Tennessee and North Carolina Avenue and a bunch of streets named after fish and some beautiful, beautiful property. We're gonna check it out. I actually just got one under contract on Pinfish Lane. A little more mature, you see the palm trees, it's nice, residential. It's gonna be a mix of rental properties and full-time residents. To my knowledge, I don't think that short-term rentals or Airbnbs are allowed in this community, but for the rest of the island, There's no rules.
There's no rules!
Let's just start back on.
There's one rule!
There are over 2,000 Airbnbs on Carolina Beach. This is a vacation market. Also, it's a strong investors market for this very reason. Property value is cheaper, and if people are looking at Wrightsville Beach or Carolina Beach, some people don't know the difference. They have the amenities, they have things to do. And if you're an investor looking to start a rental, Carolina Beach can be a strong market where you can get a much lower entry point and still get a high gross annual revenue for your rental properties. We talked about the most expensive home to sell in Carolina Beach. That was $3.35 million. And the cheapest to sell on Carolina Beach is a condo on Spencer Farlow Drive, just under the bridge, for $235 grand. There are some homes that are in flood zones. There are flood zones on Carolina Beach. A majority of the island are not. What I would say is if you are looking to purchase, just make sure you have checked that. If you're curious about a specific property, you can visit fris.gov, FRIS, Flood Resource Information Center, and they will be able, you can put in the address and it'll show you the maps. It's super clear. You'll notice there are a few more hotels as we go down the island. It's not nearly as clustered and crazy as like Myrtle Beach is. Myrtle Beach is fun, but it's absolutely chaotic. Carolina Beach is a little more laid back, and I think a little bit more, but they're playing beer pong. That's fun. We're on Ocean Boulevard, so this kind of cuts the island and it gets you over to the cut through. But one of the things I want to point out about Carolina Beach is that you'll see single wide and double wide trailers right next to $1 million beach houses. That's something you would never see on Wrightsville Beach. There's a lot more eclectic styles of homes. Most of them are gonna be this traditional beach style, front porches, the parking underneath it. There's a lot that have pools in the back as well. This right here, this house right to my left, I just put this house under contract. How cool is that? I won't mention the address, but right here, I've got clients buying in Carolina Beach right now. We're gonna keep going south down the island. We're gonna check out Kure Beach, Fort Fisher. All right, so now we're into Kure Beach, and that is pronounced Kure Beach. Fastest way to tell someone that you're not from here is to say Kure Beach or Kure Beach. This is a sleepy coastal residential area. Not as much to do, a couple of restaurants, but this is where you go to really, really get away from the chaos. And what's kind of cute about Kure Beach is they have all these little motels. Multiple beach accesses here where you can park, you get out and walk to the beach. And then in front of us is Fort Fisher. That's where we're headed next. All right, so now we are in Fort Fisher. Now that's the very, very southern tip of the island. You can see the homes are getting more sparse. Fort Fisher was one of the last forts to fall, if not the last fort to fall by the Confederacy in the Civil War. The North sent tons of ships down here on the coast and they bombarded this fort, and the picture they paint is insane. Cannonballs flying through the air and fog and smoke and people jumping off of boats with bayonets. It's crazy, but there's a museum dedicated to it. It's the Fort Fisher Museum down here, and they just underwent a major renovation and totally revamped it. And it tells the whole story of the fall of this fort, which would become a domino that would essentially end the Civil War. And if you're into history and stuff like that, it's very fascinating. And they do have Civil War reenactments. Look how cool this modern building is. They just redid this. It's like brand new, and it overlooks. And the cool part is that at that little spot, that picture window, this was estimated to be the exact spot where all those soldiers looked out and saw all those ships approaching. And these are the bunkers that were built by hand, literally. Oh, look at the sunset we're getting. This is awesome. But they were just getting bombarded right here, pounded with cannonballs and fire and craziness. Some of the reason that our city is the way it is because of battle that happened right here. How neat is that? Also a really popular spot to get away. You're now all the way at the south end. You can park right here and walk right over to the beach. They've got some big rocks set up. I mentioned you could also drive on the beach on Fort Fisher. You can. At Fort Fisher State Park, all the way down here is the second spot where you can drive with a four-wheel drive access. It's different than Freeman Park, but you can do it. Also down here is the North Carolina Aquarium. Amazing state-of-the-art aquarium. They're also undergoing some major renovations. I've had the pleasure of actually touring the aquarium and doing some behind the scenes with a leadership program a couple of years ago. And it's so cool. Great for the kids, great for the family. So we're gonna end our tour now. You might notice, where are all the houses? It's just barren now. This actually kind of looks like the Outer Banks if you've been there, where there's nothing on either side. We're all the way at the very, very end at the bottom of Fort Fisher, and this road leads basically to two places. One is the Fort Fisher ferry terminal, which so you can get on the ferry, and there's actually a state ferry that will take you over to Southport. It's about a 40-minute drive. I think it's like $7 to $10. You drive your car on it, and it's really, really fun to do. Ferry terminal on my right, boat ramp in front of us. This is what it's all about in coastal North Carolina. So this is Carolina Beach. That was it. Thanks for cruising along with me for cruising Carolina Beach in our next cruising video series. It's been so fun. I've loved doing these videos, and stay tuned for the next video. I don't know where I'm going next. We'll decide, but we're gonna catch this sunset right now. I'll see you guys for the next video. Woohoo! Let's go.